Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, this amendment includes counties that are greater than 49,000 and less than 50,000. And specifically what we were looking at in this amendment is more of a data-driven approach. I know a lot of people around here don't believe in facts and data. Our own bill sponsor could not necessarily present data to you all regarding actual statistics in terms of how this would impact different communities. But Representative Johnson yesterday mentioned there are specific communities that have been impacted with higher crime rates, and that's really what we should be addressing, data and facts. I know it sounds crazy sometimes, especially these days, but data and facts matter. And so what this amendment is adding in that counties, for example, specifically Lamar County with the city of Paris, in that city you have a 1 in 17 chance of becoming a victim of crime. And that matters, right? That's very important. Those are facts and data. So what we wanted to do is approach this in a data-driven way, something that is new, I think, to many areas here in the legislation that we're drafting. It's clear, it's simple. Let's look at facts, let's look at data, let's target those communities. And when I say target, if the reality is and the truth is it's public safety, then should not our fellow Texans in these smaller counties also be warranted the same protections? So let's really look at progressive policing. Let's look at true data and facts. Let it help those individuals who are in these counties such as Lamar County. Let's make sure that they're well protected, and let's save that 1 in 17 person who is likely to become a victim of crime. Let's save that individual in this county and other small counties like this. With that, I move adoption.
Question occurs on the adoption of the amendment. All those in favor vote aye. All those opposed vote nay. Clerk, ring the bell. Show Representative Basut voting no. Show Representative Kaysen voting no. Show Representative Vire voting nay. There being 61 ayes, 82 nays, and the amendment fails to adopt. Representative Ramos.
Amendment by Ramos.
Chair recognizes Representative Ramos to explain the amendment.
Thank you, members. I have 50 more amendments like this, so bear with me. That was a joke. This amendment, again, what we do here in Texas, we have to do right by our people. And I included this amendment for counties that are greater than 37,000 and less than 38,000. And let me tell you why I chose that. Because unfortunately, what this bill and supporters of this bill are saying when they vote for this bill is they're telling you, people in the gallery, they're telling Texans, we don't trust that you made the right decision when you elected your local officials to decide about sanitation, about parks, about public safety. The sponsor of this bill and all its supporters are saying, we don't trust you. We don't trust that you made your right decision when you went and voted in your local elections. So we want you to vote again. And you know what? If we don't like your sanitation and the way they deal with sanitation, we might draft another amendment that you're going to have to vote again on that, and vote again on parks, and vote again and vote again. And so what I'm saying is we have to do it right. We have to trust the people of Texas in your local cities that they know what they're doing when they're electing their officials. And if they don't like those officials, they'll vote them out. And so what my amendment does is bracket it to a smaller community so that we could, hear this everybody, we could use data and we could use facts and we could study this issue. We could study this issue on a smaller scale and see if this works. I will not yield. And see if this works at this time.
Mr. Speaker.
I will not yield.
Representative Capriglione, for what purpose?
A parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
So what is the term called when a member when a member changes just a number, a small part of an amendment over and over again? Is that dilatory?
Representative Capriglione, that is not a proper parliamentary inquiry.
Okay. Is there, Mr. Speaker, is there a rule that says that a member cannot essentially file the same amendment over and over again in order to waste time on the House floor?
Representative Capriglione, is that a parliamentary inquiry?
It's not a proper parliamentary?
I'm asking you if that's a parliamentary inquiry.
Yes.
The chair declines to respond to parliamentary inquiries relating to general House procedure.
Mr. Speaker,
For what purpose, Mr. Representative Capriglione?
is it a proper point of order to say that an amendment is dilatory?
Just call it. Just call it. Let's just call it. Just call it.
Representative Capriglione, if you've got a point of order, bring it down front.
I have a point of order.
State your point of order from the microphone, please.
Speaker, I raise a point of order on the fact that these amendments are essentially the same thing over and over again, wasting the House's time, and so I think it's dilatory.
Please bring your point of order down front.
All right, thank you.
The point of order has been withdrawn.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What I wanted to share with this community and talking about data and facts and identifying this community, a smaller community, I myself have worked in a community where there was a high crime area, very economically disenfranchised community, and we did some creative things to address public safety. There's something called environmental design, public safety through environmental design. And so what we did in that community is we went around and improved lighting in certain areas. That wasn't more police boots on the ground, but that was lighting. It didn't even come from the police budget.
Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Tyndall, for what purpose?
Parliamentary inquiry.
Please state your inquiry.
Rule 5, Section 22 and Section 25 specifically discusses personalities and impugning the motives of an author. I've heard that happen 3 times on this bill. And I would like to also mention personalities not permitted in debate. And to be frank, Mr. Speaker, I'm pretty tired of hearing people degrading other members of the Texas House because of the motives of their bill. And I would ask that you bring these people into order when they do it. Specifically, the person that authored this amendment has done it three times.
Outbursts are not allowed on the House floor.
So I would respectfully request that we be brought into order and we quit impugning the motives of other members for their bills. We don't need to do that to each other, and frankly, I'm tired of it today, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And so in this community, what they did is they added police lighting. What we also did is bring cameras. We brought cameras in the community to those areas that were high crime. In addition to that, there was a local nightclub that we raised private funds to purchase so that we wouldn't bring that element in the community. We did a lot of beautiful creative things. We started an after-school program. All of that brought down crime. So what my amendment is doing is targeting smaller communities. Let's test this first. Let's target smaller communities. Let's test this, and see what works and what doesn't. And then we can do it on our larger scales, because we're putting people's public safety at risk when we don't know what we're doing. We don't have facts or data. And what my amendment does is say, let's get the facts and data. Let's implement this in smaller communities. Let's figure out what works and what doesn't, because for Christ's sake, we want to make sure that our people stay safe. And you know what?
Ladies, time expired. Question occurs on adoption of the amendment. Record votes and request of Ms. Ramos. Clerk, ring the bell. All members voting. There being 58 ayes, 82 nays, the amendment fails to adopt. Following amendment, clerk read the amendment.